Do you have a dream or a goal for yourself that you're kind of procrastinating on because it requires some form of sales? Maybe you're dragging your feet because you either don't have any sales experience or you just don't want to be that salesperson who makes everybody cringe. But what if I told you that there was a very simple and effective approach to sales that could transform every interaction, every connection into an opportunity for profound impact? What if the key to captivating and engaging others wasn't what you were selling, but in the story you were telling? Welcome to another episode of the Business of Being You podcast, where today I will change the way you think about sales, authenticity, and success. Stay tuned because today's episode will unlock the salesperson within you didn't even know existed, even if you have absolutely no sales experience. Welcome back to the Business of Being You podcast. I'm Marco Benitez, also known as Coach MarcoB. I'm a certified professional coach specializing in authenticity and burnout coaching. Today we're diving into a fascinating topic: how leveraging your authenticity can change your perception of selling. Whether it's selling yourself, your service, or simply a new perspective on life, the core of effective selling is deeply rooted in authenticity. So you're probably asking yourself, what does a burnout and authenticity coach know about selling? And that's a fair question. The bulk of my formal education is in medicine. I'm a physician associate and I've been practicing since 2007. What many people don't know is that just after completing my medical studies, I decided to try my hand at starting a business. I had absolutely no business experience, no formal training, and definitely did not like sales. But I started reading a lot of books on business, marketing, entrepreneurship, and growing wealth. Armed with this knowledge, I ventured out into my first business endeavor as a medical recruiter. I helped medical practices and clinics hire advanced practice providers for their facilities. And while I read a lot of books, I still made a lot of mistakes. Nevertheless, the business was successful, but eventually ran its course and I retired the business. As a recruiter, I learned how to speak with prospects about my services and sold them on the time they would save by contracting with me to leverage my network to get them highly skilled clinicians that they needed for their practice. My next business endeavor was in the area of medical aesthetics. I underwent training to become an aesthetic injector, and I provided non-surgical facial rejuvenation for my clients, using techniques such as Botox, dermal fillers, and platelet-rich plasma. This endeavor was also successful, and I learned a lot more about sales in this role. I learned how to be an active listener and how to hear the deeper message my clients were expressing, allowing me to understand why they wanted to correct what they perceived to be imperfections. I learned how to combine empathy with ethical sales, and I learned how to tailor my sales conversations in order to create a client that would invest more in the long run as opposed to the short run. When COVID hit, the business significantly declined and never really recovered. But while it was a mentally stimulating and fascinating endeavor, my heart wasn't in it, and I eventually retired the business. So combining what I've learned from the books I've read, courses I've taken, and my own experience, I'd like to share with you something very important that I've learned. Based on what I've just shared, you might get the impression that I just have a natural knack for sales. But if I'm being honest, I've never really liked sales. As a kid, when I was forced to sell those chocolates for school, I really sucked at it. On one occasion, I remember standing outside of a supermarket with my box of chocolates, but I just stood there frozen, unable to speak. I was just staring at the people exiting the store. I was a cute kid, or at least I think I was a cute kid. And knowing what I know now, I realized all I had to do was just smile, hold up a chocolate bar, and just say, you want to buy one? And I probably would have sold out that whole box in under 30 minutes. But year after year, I never sold more than a few chocolates, and my dad had to pay for the rest of them. Now you may be thinking, hey, that's a pretty good way to get some chocolates, stashed away in the house. But my dad insisted on taking all the chocolates that he paid for and giving them away at his job. He did pay for them, so I had no objections. Fast forward to now, and I have a different view on sales. But one thing that's guaranteed to make me roll my eyes or sigh and is being approached by someone who sounds salesy. From the moment they say, hey, sir, how you doing? I can tell from the tone of their voice where things are going, and I'm looking for the nearest exit. But I found that the salespeople who approach me with genuine curiosity, authenticity, and a storyteller approach tend to grab my attention longer. And I feel a greater sense of interest and engaging. And it's that storyteller approach that takes all the fear and cringes out of selling. So now let's explore how to harness your unique story to connect, influence, and inspire. Let's kick things off with a concept introduced by Simon Sinek, which fundamentally shifts our understanding of leadership and influence. In his 2010 TED Talk, How Great Leaders Inspire, Sinek presents the Golden Circle, a framework consisting of 3 concentric circles: what, how, and why. While every business knows what they do, and some know how they do it, very few truly understand why they do what they do. And no, it's not about profits. It's all about purpose, about that compelling reason that gets you out of bed in the morning. This why is what people connect with. It's what they buy into. And for those of you who've embraced your authenticity, identifying your why might be clearer than you think. This brings us closer to the heart of today's topic. Remember this, everyone's a salesperson whether they realize it or not. But it's not about pushing a product or a service in a traditional sense. It's about sharing your story, your why. This approach to selling is not about persuasion, it's about connection. By focusing your authenticity and passion, you attract not just any customer, but the right customers. You'll see that when you detach from the outcome of making a sale and instead share the deeper message of your authenticity, the fear of sales fades away, opening the door to genuine connections and ultimately more meaningful success. Consider this. Every interaction is an opportunity to share a piece of your story, whether it's the dedication behind your service, the love embedded in your product, or the passion driving your perspective. It's these authentic stories that resonate. They don't just sell, they inspire, they connect, and they leave a lasting impact. And as you share your story, you'll find that selling becomes not just easy, but natural and fulfilling. So I invite you to think about what you want to sell. Is it your unique skills? Maybe you don't just have a beautiful singing voice, but you have a way of creating confidence in people who feel timid singing in front of others. Or maybe you have a knack for explaining in clear, simple instructions how technology works to older people who might have difficulty understanding it. Are you selling an innovative product? Maybe you created a line of natural cosmetic and hygiene products to help people with sensitive skin issues. In my very first podcast episode, I had a conversation with Naheem Duran, a stay-at-home mom of 4, one of whom has special needs. She started her own line of natural cosmetic and hygiene products in her kitchen, and she shared her story of struggling with sensitive skin and wanting to contribute financially to her household with prospective clients. And that approach allowed her to grow a successful business. Are you selling a new perspective that could change the way we see the world? Maybe you have a lot of wisdom and you want to be a motivational speaker. Or maybe you're a coach and you want to help people to see the value in your coaching. Sharing a story of how you overcame a similar struggle can help you connect with a prospect on a deeper level and change that prospect into a client. So if you're apprehensive, nervous, or just turned off by sales, take off the salesperson's hat and put on your storyteller hat. It's yet another way you can be your authentic self while at the same time sharing with your client how you can help and creating a deeper connection in the process. And that's the message I wanted to share with you today. So what are your thoughts on sales? If you had a negative outlook on it before, what helped? What story can you share with your prospects to help make a deeper connection and drive sales? Let me know in the comments. And let's create a community where authenticity is the currency of connection. If you found this valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone whose story deserves to be heard. One of my goals on the Business of Being You podcast is to remind you, or to help you see for the first time, that it's your authentic self that's your greatest asset. Once again, I'm Marco Benitez, also known as Coach MarcoB. I'm a certified professional coach specializing in burnout and authenticity coaching. Follow me on social at Coach MarcoB, or visit CoachMarcoB.com for more insights on living authentically and avoiding burnout. Together, let's explore the power of being genuinely you in a world that's waiting to hear your story. Remember, you can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance at doing what you love. I'll see you in the next episode, but until then, remember to mind your business, the business of being you.